Welcome to the Triple S podcast. The NFL draft is in 1 week. I'm going to preview it, talk about the top 10 picks that I think are going to happen, talk about what those teams should do, and what I think they actually are going to do. Obviously, we're going to start with the number one pick, which the Chicago Bears have, thanks to the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, I think right here they're going to draft Caleb Williams. It's the obvious pick. He's been hyped up. That's the reason they traded Justin Fields. I disagree with the Justin Field trade on multiple fronts. I don't think he was that bad of a quarterback, and I think he was mostly ruined by the Chicago Bears system. And he's going to be good someplace else, whether it's in Pittsburgh or elsewhere. But they should have kept him and tried to build around him a real team, not just throw him out there with nothing, because he was really special, dual threat, and I don't really see it with Caleb Williams. I don't think he's the best quarterback in this draft. You have to look at college success to at least, have a starting off point for all of these quarterbacks. And if you look at Caleb Williams, he's failed to produce in USC, in, Pac 12 that doesn't have the greatest defense. He made the playoffs one year, he didn't really advance. Last year, I know they had an awful defense, but he was just stab padding. He wasn't really helping his team. I understand you can say that he has the most talent here, but he's not going into the best system. So if you have a talent like Caleb Williams and you don't have the system around him to develop, and you saw that he wasn't able to produce at USC, what do you think he's going to do at Chicago? I don't like that this is the obvious number one pick. Obviously, I think they're going to go with Caleb Williams, but I would personally go with somebody like Jayden Daniels or Marvin Harrison. I know you have to draft a quarterback now without Justin Fields, but Marvin Harrison is probably the best talent in this draft. Moving on to the second pick, the Washington Commanders. I think they're going to draft Jayden Daniels. They need a quarterback. That's why they're so high up there. And once again, Marvin Harrison, who I think is the best talent in the draft, is going to fall. But it's obvious that they need Jayden Daniels, a quarterback there. They had Sam Howell, who, had mixed results there. But I think that Jayden Daniels can really become something special, especially in this new NFL where we see the rise of all of these dual threat quarterbacks. He won the Heisman last year. And I know you can make the same argument for Caleb Williams you can with here, a lack of success because the team around him in college wasn't very good. But I think this is a little bit different. Obviously, LSU was never as bad as USC was this last year. And, I think that, it's just a difference in conference. Jayden Daniels put up similar stats in the SEC, which has the best talent in the country, and which he's going to be facing a lot of these guys in the NFL. Obviously, the Pac 12 has talent, you can't deny that, but it's not the same level of defense. Moving on to the New England Patriots, the number 3 slot. I think they're going to have to take Drake May here. I know it's not fun. This isn't a fun mock draft. It's just quarterback after quarterback, especially because I don't really like Drake May. I don't really think that he's that good. It's just a level of hype like we saw last year with the guy out of Kentucky, Will Levis. It's a similar sort of story. He has obviously all the physical talent, which I don't deny that Drake May has, but he really didn't show anything off in college. He's one of these guys that's always had the talent, but he didn't show it. So, obviously, I don't think it's the right pick. I think here you have to take somebody like Marvin Harrison or somebody like Malik Nabers. But I think that Drake May is obviously going to go to that spot. Arizona Cardinals, I think that they're going to pick, I wouldn't be surprised if they pick Malik Nabers just for the fit here. Obviously, Marvin Harrison's there. I think he's the better receiver. But Malik Nabers is more of a downfield threat, a little bit of a bigger wide receiver, has more explosivity. I wouldn't mind them picking either receiver here. I think that's what they're going to do. And I think that the Chargers at number 5, they're going to be happy with taking somebody like Malik Nabers or Marvin Harrison, whoever is left at that spot. Obviously there's a lot of trades here. I'm not going to really predict trades because you never know what's going on there. At the number 6 spot, I have the New York Giants drafting Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. It's obviously always a boring pick when you pick an offensive lineman. They're not the best known, and I would have preferred them pick somebody on the edges, but they're already spending a lot of money on Daniel Jones. They can't pick another quarterback, and I think supporting him is going to be the most important thing here. Giving him some time to throw. I think that Daniel Jones needs all the help that he can get really at this situation. And I think at the number 7 spot here, the Tennessee Titans are going to pick somebody like Brock Bowers. I think he's the most talented person left on the board here. And I think he fits great with that culture down there in Tennessee. Number 8, I think, the Falcons have to pick somebody like Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner is going to be great for them. Going to be great to have that defensive presence back in Atlanta. They've had that missing for a while. At the number 9 spot, it's the Bears again, and I think it's going to be important for them to get Caleb Williams, a star wide receiver that they can build around. I think that's Ome Odonzu from Washington. I like the fit that he has with that team. We're going to see how Caleb Williams works out, but I think having a rookie wide receiver with him is going to be really important. And finally, at number 10, the last pick I'm going to make here, the New York Jets. I think that they're going to pick somebody like Jared Verse out of Florida State. It may be a little bit of a reach at this spot here, but I think that he really has a talent to make it far. And, I think the Jets have to revamp that defense there as they focus on getting better with Aaron Rodgers. And I really like the fit with them at that edge spot. That's my top 10 right there. And, I think this will be a very influential NFL draft based on just the talent that we have at that level, like in top 10. We're going to see if Caleb Williams works out. He could be a generational type quarterback, so could Jaden Daniels, so could even JJ McCarthy. This draft is just full of talent. I'm going to be very excited to see the draft in just a week, but that's all for me right now.